Hey everybody, Karen Bryant here, and today I've got Sodiq Yusuff kicking back with me. Of course, he's facing Diego Lopes at UFC 300. Dude, that's the big show. How excited are you for that one?
It's gonna be dope. I think it's one of those things. It's not gonna hit until I'm actually in there. I haven't fought with a crowd since the pandemic happened, so I kind of got used to the quietness of the Apex. So I'm sure when I make that walk again, it's gonna be a very nostalgic feeling.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. The last time I was working your fight at the Apex with Edson. So, what did you take away from that fight? Anything that that you're working on for this one that you feel like, okay, I was close on this one. Let me take it into the next fight.
Maybe like picking my shots better, being able to get back into the game when things go wrong.
So here's the thing with Diego Lopes, he is a fighter that is very much on the rise and he's got a lot of buzz on him. He had like a fight of the night and then two performance of the nights in a row. So certainly though, it's a matchup that you can go in there and be explosive as well. I gotta guess, right?
Yeah. I think there's a lot to capitalize on. To be honest with you, I didn't know how big he was until the fight got announced. So when the fight got announced, I was like, I got a whole lot of like Twitter and Instagram message of like all of his fans. I think it's the cool hair he has. So because he hasn't been in the UFC relatively that long, so I didn't think that many people knew him. But he has a big buzz behind him.
Yeah, it's funny because I agree with you on that. Because literally, I was same thing. I was like, well, let me just go double check like all of Diego's fights, and I was like, bro, there's three. I was like, how's
Yeah.
everybody talking about this, bro? There's three fights. I mean, good for him. It's awesome. It's like it's cool. I
Yeah,
think a lot of it comes.
it's the cool hair.
It is the cool hair. Do you remember Eric Silva? Like, because he kind of reminds me of like the next gen Eric Silva.
Yes.
But I do think a lot of the buzz also obviously comes from the team that he's with. Everybody down there in Mexico, and there's a lot of champions coming out of there. So they're known for their striking and stuff. But he's, not only is he big, with his name coming up, but like he might have a little bit of a reach advantage on you. Am I right?
Yeah. I think he's 5'11",
Yeah.
5'11", 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 5'11". So he's a little bit taller than me and has a little bit of a reach advantage, but it's nothing crazy. I think he should be around the same height like Bruce Leroy was, maybe even a little shorter.
Right. And that one, I believe, was leg kicks. Is that what helped you out on that one? Yeah, yeah. It's so crazy when we think about that. Like when I first started covering MMA and UFC was like, that wasn't even a thing. And I know everybody talks about it, but it is really wild how that became such a weapon.
Yeah. And shout out to the OGs, Benson Henderson and James Krause. They were one of the few people that originated it. Benson didn't do a lot of damage with it, but James Krause, a lot of people don't give him credit. He's one of the first people that actually saw do real damage with calf kicks. But it's like the history kind of forgot about him.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of everything that's going on, but yeah,
Yeah.
but you're right. I mean, for a coach to be able to see that, and also he was a fighter as well, but like for that to become such a big part of the game really is wild. Like it's
Yeah.
wild. It's
It's
wild.
changed. It's changed a lot drastically, and it's one of those things where it works even better in MMA just because of our stance. It's
Yep.
still relatively people don't do it as much straight Muay Thai just
Mhm.
because they're able to adjust their stance to it. But with MMA is there all day.
Yeah, I love it. So, um, your activity level has it been what you wanted it to be? Because there was a little bit of a break, but now I feel like you're getting back
Yeah,
some momentum. Is
yeah.
that fair?
Now it's starting to pick up. I've had a lot of setbacks with injuries and sickness and stuff like that. So definitely wasn't what I wanted it to be before, but we're starting to get on the roll. Fingers crossed that it stays like that for the rest of my career.
I love it. Well, and it's funny because I know I've said this to you before, but I remember riding the elevator with you after the Shaman Rice fight in Philly.
Yes.
And because I know, the guys who are coaching Shaman, he's a guy from, Black House and stuff out here. And so I knew them. And I remember, like, what a great fight that was. And I
Yes.
think I remember telling you in the elevator, I was like, bro, that was amazing. Like, that was an
Yes.
incredible fight. And and they didn't know you were going to be as tough as you were. Like, not that they were undervaluing you, but like they didn't know. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden it was like, oh, they found out.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's kind of like it was like that very early on in my career, and
Yeah.
it was because of fights like that then I started getting the proper respect that I deserve. But to be honest, I don't really take value on either side, is because at the end of the day, this is the most honest test there is. We're gonna get out there and punch each other in the face, and the best man's gonna win.
It's very true. Now, I've seen on your Instagram that you're watching a lot of the African fighting and stuff now too. Are you commentating on that? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, so it's called Dambe. It's one of those things that it's for a specific tribe in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went home last time, I was able to get in contact with the organization, and was able to watch a few of the fights. And I'm actually planning on going home to watch a couple in person. It's just camp schedule is so hard to deal with, but it's really fun, man. It's one of those things where like it's always fun to see like the original root of a lot of martial arts.
Right, for sure. And obviously, it's such a there's so much untapped potential over there in
Yes.
terms of athletes. So
Yes.
I gotta wonder, like, you over there scouting too?
Yeah, the biggest thing right now we need over there is like real grappling, man, like serious grappling.
Yeah.
Like they have judo, maybe not much wrestling, not much jujitsu. Boxing and judo is pretty big though.
Yeah. Do you consider Duplessis like your African champion? I know things got a little weird with him and Izzy and all that. And do you
Man,
consider it though a homeland champ?
uh, it's strange, man. It's strange. I think I really wish he never started that rhetoric.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like that it's very very hard to come back from stuff like that. Like trying like being like the bigger person. um yeah, he is the African champ, but it was just so unnecessary to start stuff like that. It was very very lame, like even somebody like Francis wouldn't say stuff like that. And Francis spent longer in Africa than all of us did, and even he wouldn't say anything like that just because he knew how touchy a subject like that was, because there's a specific reason why all of us had to leave for a better opportunity, and
Right.
there's a specific reason why you can stay for a better
Right.
opportunity,
Yeah. It's
So
like,
I really wish he was more that he never brought it up at all. But to being a bigger person, which we usually are forced to be, yes, he's the African champ.
yeah, I agree with everything you just said. And I remember meeting him at Fight Island, and it was like this new talent. And obviously, he's doing well. But agreed, it was so unnecessary. And
Man,
you know exactly what you're doing. You can't pretend you didn't know that was like
yeah.
the most hot button issue. Like
What
you
was
can't.
what Fight Island? That was like his second fight, right, or his first fight?
It might have been his debut there. Yeah.
So I watched it with
Yeah.
friends and with like African people, and we was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, South African guy, guess who we was cheering for? The South African guy." Then he got on the mic and was like, "What the hell?" we was all team Duplessis until he started talking. It was like,
Yeah,
ah.
come on, guy. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with that. And I mean, I do hope, there's been rumors that there could be a UFC show in Africa. I would assume, it might end up in South Africa just because they have the infrastructure already.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty cool if you could have a UFC fight over there.
Yeah, 100%. But when I'm back home, EFC is always constantly showing on TV, and that's where they host a majority of all their shows. But I think there's rumors saying Izzy and Duplessis is gonna happen in Perth, so I'm hoping my boy can get it done.
Yeah, I'd love to see you on that card, but yeah, because there have been some rumblings about us maybe going to Africa, and I'm like, well, I better be on that show.
Yeah, for sure.
My
I'll
ass
clear
needs to go
everything
on.
off the table to do that.
Yeah, it would be incredible. So I do want to ask you, and I know you got to go, but like, so my daughter is going to be going to college in the fall. She is an animator. She is an incredible artist, and she's like way into manga and anime and all this stuff, which I know you are too. And like, you guys would hit it off. It'd be great. But I have to ask about this, the Disney show that you did. What is it called, and how did that come about?
Yes, this Disney show is called Iwaju. In my language, Yoruba, Iwaju means like something ahead of you, like forward facing, or it can mean like in the future, so it's about a futuristic Lagos, Nigeria. So it was really cool, man. It's one of those stories. So I'll preface the story by saying no matter how many no's you get, You just need one right yes for it to mean anything, you know. So every once in a while, I always shoot my shot in like DMs and stuff like that to like different companies to try to
Mm-hmm.
work with, especially the things that I find cool personally. So
Yeah.
this whole thing actually came out with a random fan. He messaged me. He was like, "Hey, congrats on your fight." Blah blah. And every once in a while, as long as you're not like a troll or an asshole, I
Yeah.
engage with people in my DMs. You know, like I'll have
Cool.
like a long conversation, not just hi bye. You know. So
Yeah.
as we was talking. He just said, by the way, I'm an animator and I'm working on a futuristic Lagos, Nigeria. I was like, what? I was like, man, that is so cool. I told him I can't wait to see your project and blah blah. And then I was as we was talking about it, I was like, what company is it? And then he
Yeah.
told me the name of the company, and I went to go look up the company, and turns out that company had a deal with Disney. So I DM'd the actual company. I was like, hey, is there any possible way I could be a part of this project? I don't care how small it is. You know, I just want to
Yeah.
like be a part. Like it's about my not just my country, but my actual tribe. You know. So I was like, I'll be a part of it no matter what. So they sent me the email of the actual owner, like that no yeah the owner of the company.
Yeah.
I emailed that guy, and turns out he happened to be a UFC fan.
Yes.
You know,
Bless
so
up.
yeah, so everything like all the right boxes checked off. He's like
Yes.
Nigerian, Yoruba, UFC fan. You know, like
Nice.
I checked off
Nice.
every single box.
That's
So
perfect. That's awesome.
they had me come in to do one like a very small role. If you watch the show, the character that originally had me do is just a police officer that had literally like three lines. So
Mm.
I went and I did that. I got back home and they emailed me. It was like, hey, we'll give you a real character, you know, 6 episodes. I was like, what
Nice.
man, hell yeah, you know, I was so happy, man. It was very, very dope. Cause coincidentally I started doing like acting school when
Nice.
I had the injury in my back, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So and it was one of those things that I always thought was fun. So
Yep.
now the only two roles I've had so far was on HBO Max with Paul Felder and
That's
on
right.
Disney. So I tell everybody I went straight to the top.
You did. Like your resume is fire. Like that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
HBO and Disney straight to the top. So hopefully
Whatever.
more people give me opportunities like that. I would love to jump on it.
It's amazing, and that's such a cool story, and I love to hear because I didn't know if it originated from your unprofessional breakdowns and stuff, and like
Yeah,
if it,
it's just from being nice, man. Sometimes it's just talking to people, you know,
yeah.
you never know how far conversations can go. Just being a genuine person.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and with that, I'll sign off by saying, and I don't know, I feel like I've said this to you before, but I used to live in New York a long time ago. I would meet dudes named Sodiq. I don't think I've ever met a guy named Sodiq who wasn't cool.
Ah, nice. Hey, that's because our name is like trustworthy, loyal, like a loyal friend, you know. Like I fought in Jordan one time, and when I walked out, I got so much love because Sadiq is Arabic, you know. A lot of
Yeah,
us put a little spin on it based on what country we're from. That's why
right.
mine is spelled with an O, but it's like Sadiq. So it was like, hey, Sadiq, you're one of us, like loyal friend, you're one of us. So I hope I'm representing all Sadiqs across the world very well.
I love it. Yeah, it was like to me in New York, it's like Sadiq. Like it
Yeah,
was always like Sadiq
yeah.
was like down. Like they were always cool. They were just always cool. I love it. I love it. Well, excited to see you fight. Of course, you're fighting Diego Lopes at UFC 300, and congratulations on all your success. And I'm sure everybody at home is just so excited for you. And I know you're humble about the charity you do, but it's really great to see. And it's really nice to see somebody who not only is just a beast in the octagon, but who's just a great guy outside of it. It's just really cool to see. So
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for kicking it back, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
Peace.